Welcome to the Sage Thought Leadership Podcast, transforming the way people think and work so their organizations can thrive. Well, hi, everyone, and welcome to our podcast. I'm Ed Kless, and with me today is Jason Richelson. Jason is CEO and co-founder of Bookkeep, the smarter accounting automation platform for independent bookkeepers, accounting firms, and growing businesses. Nearly 700 retailers and restaurants currently use Bookkeep, and the company manages $50 million in merchant sales per month. He is also the creator of ShopKeep, a cloud-based point-of-sale system sold to Lightspeed Commerce in 2021, used by more than 25,000 retailers and entrepreneurs to streamline their operations. With more than 2 decades of deeply rooted payment and automation experience, Jason is a sought-after speaker and author on point-of-sale, e-commerce, and accounting integrations. Welcome to the Sage Thought Leadership Podcast, Jason Richelson.
Thank you very much.
Well, first off, Jason, why do you do what you do?
Well, I've always liked solving problems with automation, which sounds funny, but one of my first jobs was actually automating accounting on a trading desk. And then after I left that, I went into retail and started a retail store because I really wanted to automate all the back office functions, really, of a wine store. And that history led me to start ShopKeep, which was a cloud-based point of sale. And now I'm on to an even bigger problem, which I believe, is a global problem. It goes across all industries, which is that I think bookkeeping is completely broken right now.
Well, let's talk about that. Why do you think bookkeeping is broken?
So, I've been doing my books, from when I was on the trading desk doing the books for that. I was doing my books in my own business. And I've always noticed, even starting my software company, ShopKeep, back in the day, the accounting teams never really get a lot of love from management, from, internal help or external help. It's always, give them a spreadsheet, have them hire somebody else, they'll figure it out. And what I'm starting to see also with small business now, which is why we started Bookkeep. Bookkeep actually started as a bookkeeping firm, and we still are a bookkeeping firm. We have 50 clients in bookkeeping. We have 3 full-time accountants, and it is a very difficult job to get the books done every month because of multiple things that are happening in the industry, but mostly because everything's moving to e-commerce now. So you now have businesses that weren't considered e-commerce, like restaurants, retail, which used to be mostly just point of sale, even if they might have sold online as well. Now everything is web-based, payment-based, and all of these payments have to get entered into your accounting platform so you can make sure you book your proper income, your sales tax, get all the fees. And bookkeepers, I don't even think realize what kind of crisis they're in because they can't even keep up with all these deposits and what's going into it. So the books don't get done properly.
And, well, obviously, if the books don't get done properly, you're not getting valid financial information out the other side. So that's obviously where that leads. But why do you think this is such a challenge with regard to all of that? I mean, all of these systems have been in place for years and years and years. Is it just, was COVID that the thing that really pushed it over the edge, or is it just the level of complexity has significantly increased?
So that's a really good question. So yes, point of sale has been in place and payments have been in place, but with the advent of Square, Shopify, Afterpay, we've now got fast.co, we've got bolt.com, all kinds of different checkout methods, payment systems, whether it's in restaurant, retail, or e-commerce. It's becoming easier and easier to tack these on into your business. So the front office, the owner, might start taking new payment methods because, of course, the owner of the business wants to make sales. But the last person to know about what happens is the accountant or bookkeeper who has to deal with, wait, what are these deposits from Afterpay? I didn't know we were using Afterpay. I need to figure out how do I get access to Afterpay. So it is to some extent, fintech in Silicon Valley, which I was a part of starting ShopKeep, that has basically come up with a whole bunch of new ways for businesses to sell. And so that's one of the problems. Another problem that we're seeing is it's really hard. Everybody knows, you ask anybody, I need a good bookkeeper. Can you recommend one? It is a common question. It's very hard to find and keep a good bookkeeper / accountant to get your books done on a regular daily basis. I'm not talking about CPAs. I'm really talking about client accounting services where you're getting the data into the books. And it's very hard to find and retain those people. And I think it's getting even harder. We're seeing a lot of it getting offshored. And then even then, you have a disconnect in communication, which makes getting the books done accurately even harder. A simple example of that is if you have to offshore, you have someone doing your books offshore, you're going to have to send them your password to Afterpay so they can log in and get the reports, or you're going to give it to your bookkeeper or accountant who's going to send that off. And while that can be done securely, it's really something that slows down getting the work done, especially if you think about having hundreds of clients. And all of this stuff can be automated. And that's what we do at Bookkeep is to help automate a lot of these connections and data flows.
And I would especially think that the taxing authority is becoming more and more challenging. I mean, especially with the advent of Wayfair, for example, as playing into that. That's not so much for your local restaurant, but really if you're selling across state borders in the United States, that's a huge problem.
No, and that's one of the other things that goes into, finding a good accountant bookkeeper. A lot of them don't fully understand that if they're selling on Wayfair, and I don't know Wayfair as well as maybe Amazon, sometimes those platforms or those marketplaces are capturing and paying the tax for you, even though you may still have to report it. Whereas you might be using Shopify where you have to capture and pay that tax yourself. So the complexity is increasing, especially as people think, hey, I'm going to add Wayfair as another sales channel or Etsy. And then the accountant really has to get a handle on that. And when these small business accountants might have 30 to 50 clients, it gets much, much harder for them to really quickly understand what is going on with all these clients. And they're really, really falling behind. So yes, a lot of sales channels going online is really what is exacerbating the problem, whether it's sales tax or just payment deposits.
Well, we've only got a few minutes left, but let me ask you a self-serving question. How does Bookkeep help?
So what we do at Bookkeep is basically we are an automation platform. We capture payment system data, sales system data. We post proper accrual entry, sales summaries, and then we post the deposit entries so they match in your banking feed, and then we reconcile the payments to your sales. So basically, it's a daily reconciliation of your revenue to your payment deposits, which is something that no one is doing right now. And this is one of the huge problems with finding a bookkeeper or getting your books done. Getting this data accurate and into your books on a daily basis is something that we're really revolutionizing right now.
Well, Jason, we have an exit question that we ask all of our guests, and that is, who is a hero of yours, and why are they a hero?
Probably, I've been to Omaha now. I think I'm going again this year. I think it'll be the 15th year I've gone down to see Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger. And honestly, when I worked on the trading desk, I learned, how people make money by trading, which isn't really investing. And I found Warren Buffett and learned about good old fashioned business. It doesn't change whether you're in technology or not. And I've learned a lot of accounting from Warren Buffett, I have to say, reading his letters. But definitely, I always go back to Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger when I think about, a big decision I have to make.
And lastly, Jason, how can somebody contact you?
So we're really easy to find. It's bookkeep.com or jason@bookkeep.com is my email address. You can chat with us or just email me. We're happy to help. And we really want to help, make the job of the daily bookkeeper accountant a lot easier.
All right. And listeners can sign up for a demo of Bookkeep in the show notes. It's bookkeep.com/sage. Jason Richelson, thanks so much for being a guest on the Sage Thought Leadership Podcast.
Thank you very much.
Review and subscribe by searching your podcast player of choice for Sage Thought Leadership Podcast.